Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the best shows I have ever seen in my entire life. Wait, no, I take that back. It's the best show I've ever seen in my entire life, and I don't think that's a very controversial opinion. Now, usually this would be the part of the video where I explain to you guys why I like this show so much, but let's be real here. If you've seen Avatar, you know why I like this show, and you know why this show is so amazing. Instead, I'm going to be talking about why, over the years, I've noticed that the show isn't as good as I've remembered. Oh, this show is still a masterpiece, don't get me wrong, and still probably my favorite show of all time. But I've just noticed that it's not as perfect as I once thought it was. Like, no joke, a couple years ago I honestly thought this show was perfect, like it had no flaws, no plot holes, it was objectively perfect. Now I know what you're gonna say, oh Taboo, we Avatar fans already know this show isn't perfect. Firelord Ozai isn't a very well-developed character, and The Great Divide is a trash episode. Okay, but what if I told you that those two issues, in my opinion, aren't even that big of issues? I mean, I kinda like the fact that Ozai is really one-dimensional. It makes him simple, it makes him easy to root against, and just because he's one-dimensional doesn't mean he's not badass. I mean, some of the best villains ever have been super one-dimensional, just I'm evil for the sake of being evil. And The Great Divide isn't that bad. I mean, it's a terrible Avatar episode. It doesn't feel like Avatar at all, but like you can still have some fun with it while watching it. But if you really hate it that much, you just have to skip it. Instead, the main issues with the show, in my opinion, is the character writing for some of the characters and some of the world building, and we're going to be talking about the latter first. Okay, so the world building is like one of the best aspects about this show. I mean, the magic system is pretty much perfection. So I understand it sounds kind of stupid that I'm going to be talking about how the world building is one of the worst aspects about the show. Because it's really not. The only world building I have issues with is the bald people, aka the air nomads. Now this first point I'm going to be talking about isn't really serious, it's just kind of a nitpick, and you don't need to take it serious at all. This has just been on my chest for a long time. I've always hated the fact that they're called the air nomads. I mean, a nomad by definition is somebody who has no permanent abode. And that's not what the airbenders are. I think it would have been better if they were called the air islands. I know that sounds not as cool, but hey, at least it makes sense. Now, when it comes to the air nomads, I love the aesthetic. I think the mixture of Buddhist and Hindu architecture is just so cool. But other than the aesthetic, I don't really like the airbenders that much. And the main reason is because they're monks. Now, the main purpose of a real-life monk is to basically detach themselves from earthly desires. That means no sex, no delicious food, no pets, no friends. All they focus on is their spirituality and like their cosmic energy and, you know, meditation and stuff. And I mean, that's not what the monks in Avatar are. They like eating cake and pastries, they play games with each other, they have pets, and there clearly is like a little love thing with Avatar Aang and Monk Gyatso. I mean, you could argue that the monks in Avatar aren't like the monks in real life, but if you were to argue that, you wouldn't be correct. It's stated many times that the main airbender philosophy is to detach themselves from the world so their spirit can be free. So I mean, it just doesn't make sense for them to have friends and play little games and eat cake and stuff. My next issue with the airbending is that airbending itself is kind of boring. I mean, firebending is super versatile. You can shoot fireballs, fire beams. You can make like little knives with a fireball. And if you concentrate the fire enough, it can be turned into blue fire or even lightning. Water is even more versatile. You can like make waves, create whips, and if you lower the temperature of the water down enough, it can create like ice shards. You can make ice armor, and not to mention bloodbending. And you can do pretty much anything with earth. Walls, boulders, armor, crystal bending, sand bending, you name it. But with air bending, you can shoot air out of your fingertips and create little tornadoes. And that's kind of it. Okay, forget about the airbenders. I'm talking about the rest of the world building with the other races. One of the best aspects about Avatar is that it was super ahead of its time. I mean, it had so many different races and minorities and ethnicities. You got the waterbenders who were like Inuit, you got the firebenders who are Japanese, the earthbenders who are Chinese, and like I said before, the airbenders are kind of like a mixture of like Hinduism and like Buddhist monks and stuff. And then the sandbenders are kind of like Middle Eastern, I think. However, not every race is in this show. I mean, there's no black people and there's no Indian people. Well, I mean, except for that one time Okay, seriously though, but like, why is the guru Indian? I mean, not that I'm complaining or anything, but like, where do you come from? He claims he's like a spiritual cousin of the Airbenders, but like, what the heck does that mean? I mean, a lot of people like to complain that there's no black people in Avatar, and the people who believe that aren't 100% correct. There is in fact one black person in Avatar, and he's right here. He's one of the rhino guys. Like I said before, not that I'm complaining, but like, where is he coming from in this world? The only place I can think of in the Avatar world where a black person would come from is like the desert parts of like the Earth Kingdom, but like I just said before, the people in those areas are like Middle Eastern. And there's like nowhere in the Avatar world that kind of resembles Africa, so I really don't know where this guy is coming from. However, it is just a nitpick. It doesn't really matter. I still really like the fact that there's a black person and an Indian person in this show. We have like every ethnicity. We've got Asian, we've got black, we've got Middle Eastern, we've got Indian. This is amazing. We've got like every single ethnicity. And the best part about it is that there's no white people. Yes! Unless that's what I thought. Unfortunately, I recently just found out, well, I didn't really find out, I just kind of realized that there are white people in this universe. The Swampbenders, they're white people. I mean, like, it's not officially that they're like white people, but come on, they speak it with southern accents, and they're like stereotypical white hillbillies. The Swampbenders are white people. Ugh. God damn it, we were so close of having a show with like no white people. And then, oh, we just have to have more white people. Ugh. I mean, I kind of like the idea that the only white people in the show are like dumb, stupid hillbillies. That kind of makes sense, because that's kind of what white people are. But I mean, I still would have preferred it if there was no white people in the show. It's really hard for me to wake up in the morning. I'm having a good day, and I'll eat my bowl of cereal. Then I look in the morning, I'm like, oh, I'm a white person. Yeah, right. God damn it. Life sucks sometimes.
White people be like...
Okay, I'm not going to be talking about the world building anymore. Instead, I'm going to be talking about one character in specific. And this one character is probably the worst character in Avatar. One of the main reasons why I love this show is because I literally love with a capital L, every single character in this show. And even the characters I don't like that much, like May, I still really like her. And this is going to be kind of ironic, but my least favorite character in this entire show is Aang. Now, don't get me wrong, I still really like Aang. I mean, it's kind of hard not to like him. He's just this plucky, cute, wholesome kid who just wants everything to be happy and fun. But I mean, out of all the characters, he kind of irritates me the most. A few people have already talked about how hypocritical it is that Avatar Aang refuses to kill Ozai because he's a pacifist, but like he's like killed like so many people over the past years. He claims he only uses violence for self-defense and he's never killed anyone. But yeah, that's just not true. Aang believes that all life is sacred, even the tiniest spider fly caught in its own web. Well, apparently that rule doesn't apply if you're a bumblebee vulture. I mean, dude, you claim you're a monk and stuff and that killing people is against the teachings of the monks, but dude, I think you kind of said goodbye to the whole monk thing ever since you wanted to bang Katara. Also, there have been countless of memes about this, but his little kind of like vegan crap kind of irritates me. I mean, I could literally have Katara and tie her up and then slit her throat right in front of his eyes, and he'll just be like, okay. But if I say one thing to Appa that's slightly offensive, like, ugh, his fur is making me kind of itchy, you're gonna blow his shit. Also, a lot of people have talked about this already, but I might as well mention it. The whole lion turtle giving Aang the power to defeat Ozai the very last second is stupid and kind of lazy writing. However, everything I talked about in this video were just nitpicks. None of it really matters. The only thing that matters is that Avatar The Last Airbender, in my opinion, and I think in most people's opinions, is the closest show to reach the level of perfection that it has reached that level. No other show has come close to reaching the level of perfection that Avatar has. And I just want to let you guys know that even though I'm making a video complaining about Avatar, I love this show. I love it. It is one of my favorite shows of all time, definitely in the top 5. It could possibly even be my all-time favorite show, okay? Those are just a couple of things I've noticed over the years, and I just felt like I had to say it because no one else was talking about it. But anyway, that was my video about Avatar. If you haven't seen Avatar, you have to watch it. It's like the best show of all time, like I've said a billion times in this video, but like you have to watch it. Also, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Reddit, follow my Patreon, leave a comment, leave a like on the video, subscribe. My name is Taboo, and goodbye.
Snap back to reality.